The new semester starts with the same old feeling of loneliness for second-year student Narumi Kuta. He sits alone, lost in his thoughts, unable to connect with the class's lively mood. Still, he reminds himself that this uncomfortable classroom is better than being at home. His thoughts are interrupted when his childhood friend, Inumaki Natsuki, taps on his desk and asks if he wants to hang out after school. Kota apologizes and says he has to work again. Frustrated, Natsuki asks why he's been working so much lately. Kuta explains that he doesn't want to go home because his mother recently remarried, and he still hasn't gotten used to it. Hearing this, Natsuki softens and shows concern, saying his mom must be worried about him coming home so late. But Kauta insists that being at home is too uncomfortable for him right now. Natsuki says he understands and tells Kauta to let him know if he ever wants to kill sometime. As his mind drifts, Kuta thinks about his haven, a family restaurant called Flower, where he goes to escape his new family situation. He sits there until his 10 p.m. curfew, enjoying the atmosphere and killing time. A place where he can be by himself without worrying. He acknowledges, however, that there is one other regular who is always there, a girl from his year named Kazamiya. His thoughts are interrupted as a group of girls approaches Kazamiya Kohaku, asking for an introduction to her famous singer sister, but she bluntly says no. When they press her for an autograph, she snaps at them, and they back away quickly. Watching this, Natsuki explains to Kuta that Kazamiya apparently dislikes talking about her sister. Kuta quietly takes in the information. He continues to think about the singer-songwriter Kuon, whose real name is Kazamiya Kuron, 2 years older than her sister. He notes that, like her popular sister, Kazamiya herself is something of a celebrity at school due to her beauty, but this leads to jealousy and the spread of baseless rumors that she parties at night or hangs out with bad people. Kauta finds it amazing how interested people are in someone else's business and thinks to himself that he knows a side of Kazamiya that no one else does. After school, he is in the crowded family restaurant, annoyed that his usual seat is taken, and he suddenly panics when he realizes Kazamiya is sitting right beside him, hoping she has not noticed him. He tries to act normal, noticing a new omelet rice dish on the menu. He stands up to place his order and get a drink, glancing over at Kazamiya, who is sitting silently, wearing her headphones and completely focused on a video. Relieved that she is too distracted to notice him, he finds himself wondering what kind of videos she always watches. Finally, his special golden omelet rice arrives, and he thoroughly enjoys the delicious food, thinking about how indispensable the place has become to him. After finishing the meal, he checks his phone and sees that it is 8 p.m., leaving him 2 hours until his curfew. Just as he decides to browse his timeline, his phone rings with a call from his mom. He answers, and she asks where he is, so he lies, telling her he is on his way back from his part-time job and will grab something to eat before coming home. Nearby, Kazamiya, having taken off her headphones, stops what she is doing and listens to his conversation. His mom asks why he doesn't eat at home with everyone, but he insists that they should not worry about him and that it is easier this way. His mom relents, tells him to be careful, and he hangs up. Kazamiya then looks directly at him and asks if he is also having trouble getting along with his family. Stunned that she is speaking to him, he asks if she is talking to him, and she retorts who else she would be asking. She quickly apologizes, explaining that she did not mean to eavesdrop but overheard him when her video ended. Kota takes the blame, saying it is his fault for talking so loudly on the phone, and an awkward silence falls between them. He breaks the silence, explaining that he is not really on bad terms with his mom. Kazamiya smiles knowingly and adds that it is with his mom at least. A bit confused, Kota admits that it is true things are complicated with everyone else in his family, and she looks down, saying it is the same for her. He has a moment of realization, thinking to himself that Kazamiya is just like him. They both apologize for prying, and then discover they share the same personal policy of not interfering in other people's family matters. Hearing this, Kazamiya smiles for the first time, and the sight stuns him. She remarks that even their reasons are the same and says that Kuta is like that too. Amazed, he asks how she knows his name. She reminds him that they are classmates and both regulars at the restaurant, so it is hard not to remember him. Kauta then realizes the full extent of their similarities, and she confirms it, saying that it is uncomfortable at home, so she kills time here. She is really happy and says they get along well, and Kota just looks at her, agreeing that they really do. Just then, a waitress brings a chocolate ice cream to their table that Kuta had ordered simply to kill more time. Understanding completely, Kazamiya says she might order something too, but he offers her a bite instead. After a moment of hesitation, she accepts, and they enjoy the dessert together. Suddenly, he checks the time and is shocked to see it is already 10:30 p.m., well past his curfew. They both decide to head home and walk together along the sidewalk. As they walk, Kazamiya makes a suggestion that it would be more fun to pass the time if they chatted like this more often. She admits that Kuta is easier to talk to than she expected and that it gives them a good excuse to stay out. He agrees, thinking to himself that time does seem to pass faster with her. She adds that she feels like she could even vent to him about school, private matters, and family issues. Hearing this, Kota turns away, trying to hide a laugh at the irony of their shared situation, and he muses that venting about family is nice. Annoyed, Kazamiya shouts and asks why he is laughing. He nervously says he is sorry, explaining that he just never thought about venting to someone before. He then asks if they need any rules for their new meetup. Kazamiya smiles and proposes one rule. Their relationship is just for venting to each other, and it will not go any further than that. Kota likes the idea, noting that it fits with their shared principles. With the rule decided, he changes the subject and asks what movie she was watching earlier. She tells him her recent recommendation, and they continue to chat comfortably until they arrive at her home. She thanks him for walking with her, remarking on how quickly the time flew by. As she heads into her building, she says goodnight to Kuta, and he replies goodnight to Kazamiya. They make eye contact one last time, and she smiles, telling him they should meet at the usual place after school tomorrow. As Kuta reaches his house, he receives a message from Kazamiya thanking him for seeing her off and recommending a movie. He replies with a simple thanks, saying he is going to sleep now, but he blushes as he thinks about how they exchanged contact info and tells himself not to get his hopes up. He reflects on their new family restaurant alliance, glad to have found someone to talk to. When he enters his home, his mom and stepfather welcome him, but the atmosphere is uncomfortable, and he quickly says goodnight. His internal monologue reveals his mother remarried a man named Akihiro-san, who has a smart and athletic daughter, Kotomi. He feels like a failure who does not belong in this new perfect family. As he heads to his room to watch the movie Kazamiya recommended, he is stopped by Kotomi. She welcomes him home, noting he is later than usual and that everyone was worried. She then warns him about a rumor of a girl at their school who goes out late at night, telling him to be careful not to get seduced. He immediately thinks of Kazamiya, but just thanks his stepsister for her concern. Kotomi tells him she understands it is hard for him to be at home, but asks him to try for the sake of their parents, explaining that being together is what makes a normal family. She then wishes him good night, leaving him standing there as he gives a simple goodnight in return. Later, after a shower, Kuta sits in his room, deciding he is not going to sleep yet. The next morning, his stepsister greets him warmly and tells him to sit down for the delicious breakfast she has made. He sits at the table, thinking about the peaceful, well-balanced meal and how he is the only one who does not fit into the perfect family picture. His stepfather asks Kotomi if she has gotten used to school, and their mother praises her, saying she is sure Kotomi will do well at anything. The mother then quickly tries to backtrack, apologizing to Kuta for not praising him, but he interrupts, agreeing that unlike the clumsy him, Kotomi is sure to succeed. Struck by his words, his parents sit in silence as he thanks them for the meal and leaves for school. After his usual class routine, Kuta goes to his favorite restaurant, Flower, where Kazamiya is already seated and welcomes him with a bright smile. He closes his eyes for a moment, still feeling nervous after what happened yesterday. As they get their drinks, she notes that he always orders melon soda from the drink bar. He asks if Kazamiya is having coffee, and she explains that she is having tea because coffee reminds her of home. She says she appreciates that he does not pry too far into her life, as it makes it easy for her. She then puts her head on the table and complains about how tired she is of people she is not interested in asking for her contact info, explaining that the class reunion organizer, Sawada, kept asking for her number. When she asks Kuta to tell him to stay away, he says this is ridiculous and jokes about the huge gap between himself and Sawada. His comment makes her laugh, which is a sight of relief for him. When their food arrives, Kuta says grace, and Kazamiya notes how polite he is, which she thinks is nice. He looks at her, thinking she is cute, and explains that he is polite because he grew up in a single-parent family and does not want people to think he has bad manners. Just then, his phone rings, and he tells her it is his mom. He answers, and she asks where he is, apologizing for seeming to favor Kotomi that morning and expressing her fear that he would not come home. He tells her not to worry and says he is running late because he is walking a female friend home, but his mom does not believe him and tells him not to lie. He insists he is not lying, and Kazamiya offers to take the call to prove it to his mother. He hesitates but thinks that she is right and that it is the only solution. He gives her the phone, apologizing and saying he is counting on her. Kazamiya takes the phone and professionally introduces herself to his mom as Narumi's classmate, confirming that he also walked her home yesterday and is with her again today. After the call, she gives the phone back to Kuta with a smile. His mom is surprised he has a female friend, and he tells her it is a recent development, and she apologizes for doubting him. He looks at Kazamiya with a smile and thanks her, saying she really helped him out. He thinks Kazamiya was being considerate in her own way, since it is still hard for him to vent about his home problems. As they start walking home, he tells her that he watched the movie she recommended. She is surprised at how fast he watched it and asks what he thought, and he tells her it was really interesting. Her eyes widen in surprise because she did not think he would like it. He explains that he found the action cool and the story intense, and he excitedly describes his favorite part where the black cat, Torafu, stands up to fight an enemy after the white cat, Torai, is captured. Her cheeks turn red, and she admits that is her favorite part too. He smiles and brings up the foreshadowing in the movie, admitting that he shouted out loud late at night when he noticed it. She happily says that part was really interesting and admits that she has never really felt like sharing movie impressions with someone before. He offers to be her conversation partner anytime, and she thanks him. He then remembers something. He says that a friend gave him an advanced movie ticket and thinks about how perceptive his friend, Natsuki, is. Kazamiya correctly guesses it is the popular basketball movie, and he invites her to go with him. She happily accepts the invitation. He thinks his mom will probably ask a lot of questions about her when he goes home, but he checks his schedule and suggests they go the day after tomorrow. She agrees, and they both say they are looking forward to it. Kazamiya then asks him to recommend something to her, suggesting a hobby of his. He mentions that he likes gaming, so she asks him to recommend a game, promising she will buy it too. He shows her a game on his phone that he thinks she would like, and she comments on how nice it is to share what they like. He looks at her, thinking about how he never knew this side of Kazamiya, as he had never imagined her like this before. This is a new side of her that he did not even know. The next day at breakfast, his mom curiously asks Kota about his relationship with Kazamiya. A nervous lad replies she is just a friend and adds that he is going to the movies with her the day after tomorrow. His stepfather, Akihiro-san, offers him date money, but our boy politely declines. Kota blushes, thinking to himself that the once uncomfortable dinner table has become much cozier, all thanks to Kazamiya. Akihiro-san tells Kotomi she should also go out with her friends, but she says she would rather spend time with her family. Kota thinks to himself that putting family first is very typical of her. She then mentions that Kazamiya is the talk of the first years and is famous for her rumors. Kota gulps, worried that his parents might think she is a delinquent and forbid him from seeing her if they find out. Kotomi then clarifies the rumor, saying it is about a very beautiful senior who is like a celebrity and that she would love to meet her. This hypes up his mom, who also gets excited and says she would love to meet her. Kotomi then changes the topic, thanks him for the meal, and tells him to hurry up and eat. A stunned Kota can only say thank you to Kotomi. He thinks about his conversation with Kotomi, grateful that she did not say anything bad about Kazamiya. Kotomi had asked if the rumors were true, and when he told her they were nonsense, she said it was fine, explaining that she just enjoys it when their family laughs together and does not mind who he is friends with, playfully giving herself 20 sister points. The next day, in a noisy classroom, Kota sits alone, relieved that he can still go to the movie, but worried that the bad rumors about Kazamiya have reached the first years. When a girl announces that Kazamiya is in the infirmary, he immediately worries if she is all right. After school, he goes to their usual spot and finds Kazamiya with her head down on the table. He notices she looks unwell with serious dark circles, and the rumors briefly enter his mind, but he quickly shakes the thought away. She raises her head and explains that the manga was just too interesting. She excitedly says she got hooked on a popular series and stayed up all night reading it and watching the anime, which even made her cry. He puts it together and asks if this is why she was in the infirmary, and she sheepishly confirms it. A wave of relief washes over him, and when she asks what is wrong, he just laughs and says her endurance is surprising, as she explains that the story was just so interesting she could not stop. She asks if she can talk about the manga with him, and he smiles, agreeing. As they talk, she starts yawning, and he notes that she looks sleepy, suggesting they head home for the day. She insists she still wants to talk to him, so he tells her to at least take a nap there so she does not collapse on the way home, reminding her that they have a movie to watch tomorrow. She agrees that he is right and, with a smile, puts her head on the table to take a little nap. He looks at her as she sleeps, feeling like an idiot for doubting her and thinking she is a pure-hearted and cute girl. The next day, he waits for her among the crowd for their movie date. When she arrives, he thinks to himself how bright she looks. The train is crowded, forcing them to stand very close together. She looks up at him and notes that he is taller than her. As the train starts, a bump causes her to fall against him, and his hand lands on her shoulder to steady her. He quickly apologizes and raises his hands, but she just smiles and leans against him, thanking him for catching her. He blushes, thinking about how their distance is slowly getting closer. After the movie, they go to the flower restaurant. Kazamiya, still captivated by the movie, says it was amazing and even better after having seen the earlier film. She points out that one scene feels completely different with that extra context. They laugh when they realize they share the same favorite moment, and she jokes that they really are alike. When their food arrives, she happily says the hamburgers are delicious. Talking about things she likes while eating good food makes her genuinely happy, something she never got to experience in her strict childhood. Kuta comments that she must have been raised under tight rules, and she nods, explaining that family restaurants always felt special because she wasn't allowed to visit them. Now, she says, no one expects anything from her, so she can finally do what she wants. But her expression dims as she mentions that her mom no longer cares about her and has basically abandoned her. She admits she even felt a little jealous after talking to Kuta's mother, who clearly cares about him. She quickly pushes the sadness away and apologizes, but he smiles and reminds her of their rule. They can complain and listen to each other without crossing any boundaries. Kazamiya thanks him, saying it feels strange. This might be the first time she's ever talked so openly about her family. Usually, she shuts everything down, which only leads to rumors and makes people stay away from her. He mentions the rumors about her, saying they are circulating not just among their classmates, but even among the first years. Her eyes look sad, and she asks if he thinks she is the kind of person the rumors say she is. She tells him it is fine if he wants to end their alliance, and that it would probably be better for him. He completely ignores her, however, and playfully takes a piece of her hamburger, which makes her shout that it was hers. He explains that he knows she is not the kind of person the rumors say she is, because someone truly bad would not make a fuss over a single bite of a hamburger. She asks why he is getting a little mad, and he takes a breath, saying it is because they are bad-mouthing his friend. She blushes, her eyes wide with surprise, and admits that being called his friend and having him get mad on her behalf is embarrassing, but it also makes her happy. He thinks to himself how cute her face is at that moment. She then confirms with him that they are friends, not just alliance partners, and he agrees, ordering another hamburger and a parfait for her so she can talk more. After they finish eating, she says how satisfied she is and suggests they go out again, but he brings up the upcoming finals, explaining that it gets uncomfortable at home if his grades drop because his little sister is so talented. She smiles and offers a solution. If they cannot hang out, they should study together instead. Kuta thinks for a bit, agreeing that studying together is a good idea as it means they can ask each other questions and chat during breaks. Kazamiya smiles and says it is settled then. She then mentions that she did not know he had a little sister, and he confirms he has a stepsister named Kotomi. Kazamiya realizes Kotomi is the impressive class representative who gave the entrance ceremony speech and says it makes sense that having her as a stepsister would make things uncomfortable. She asks if he ever worked hard to not lose to her, and he says his old self probably would have, but now it is different. She smiles, admitting that she also used to work hard to be like her own little sister, but ran away in the end. He tells her running away is not all bad, and that he gained something good from it, explaining that by running away from his family, he became friends with her. She blushes and agrees, saying she used to feel guilty, but now thinks running away was the right choice. She then looks at the clock and realizes it is almost 10, saying she needs to head back. He comments on how fast time flies, and as they arrive at her building, she thanks him for walking her home. He feels a little sad, thinking he might have been too forward, but she turns around and smiles, telling him she is looking forward to their study session. Relieved, he promises to do his best as she waves goodbye. Just then, another voice rings out, asking where exactly she has been walking so late at night, and they see it is Kazamiya's mom. Kazamiya tries to greet her mom, but her mother coldly asks if she has been out walking this late again, and Kazamiya feels alone. She thinks about how she has always been afraid of her mother's disappointed gaze, stuck in second place, and unable to catch up to her big sister. A flashback shows her mother telling her she is nothing like her sister, and even when a young Kazamiya promises to do better, her mother coldly says it is fine and that she does not expect anything from her anymore. She thinks about how her heart finally broke and how she always knew her mother never really saw her, only her sister. Kota steps in and introduces himself as Kazamiya's friend, apologizing and taking the blame for keeping her out so late. The mother dismisses his apology, saying there is no need to concern himself and that Kazamiya was likely out over something trivial. As she heads inside, she tells Kazamiya to stop making her unhappy and unsettling expression. Once her mother is gone, Kazamiya immediately turns to leave as well, unable to face Kuta in her embarrassment. He calls out to her, but she does not listen. He thinks to himself that he understands how she feels because they are so alike. As she runs away crying, she thinks this is the side she never wanted him to see. Having no other choice, Kuta heads home. There, his whole family welcomes him, a gesture that normally makes him feel guilty. His thoughts are cut short when his mom asks what is wrong, noting that he seems spaced out. He says it is nothing and that he was just thinking about how fortunate he is. His mom pulls his cheek, saying he looks gloomy for someone who feels fortunate, and his stepfather, Akihiro-san, mentions that Kotomi has a suggestion. Kotomi asks her brother if he has part-time work tomorrow since it is Friday, and Kota confirms he does not. He thinks about how he completely forgot about Kazamiya and his self-imposed rule to always prioritize family on Fridays. Kotomi explains that the whole family will be free and suggests they spend the evening together. His mom agrees, and Kuta says it is fine. He thinks to himself that no matter how out of place he feels, he should value this new family that welcomes him so warmly. He later sends a message to Kazamiya, explaining that he has a plan with his family and might not make it to dinner, and she replies that she gets it. The next day at school, he notices Kazamiya is acting like nothing happened, even after how her mother treated her. He thinks she must want to complain at least a little. A girl then approaches Kazamiya and invites her to a class gathering, reminding her that she turned them down last time. Kota remembers that Kazamiya had mentioned the class gathering before. Kazamiya tells the girl she is not joining because she is spending time with her family today. This surprises Kuta, who thinks that even though Kazamiya's mother seemed cold, she must make time for family, so he tells himself there is no need to worry. He decides it is not like him to meddle and that he will listen to her complaints some other day. He goes directly home from school, and his parents welcome him. His mother tells him to relax, and Kotomi soon announces that dinner is ready. Kotomi suggests they watch a movie with the cookies she baked after dinner, and their mother agrees. While eating, Kota thinks that despite feeling out of place, he is fortunate to have this ordinary, happy family. He then wonders if Kazamiya is having a comfortable time with her own family, remembering how coldly her mother had looked at her, and he questions if such a parent would really make time for family. The thought gets to Kota, and he suddenly stands up from the table, apologizes, and announces he is heading out for a bit. His confused family calls after him, but he does not listen, thinking that while he should treasure this time, Kazamiya is probably at their usual place. He quickly types a message saying he is coming, and after receiving a question mark in reply, he rushes to the restaurant. He finds her there, and she looks at him, asking if he really came. She asks if he is not supposed to be at a family dinner, and Kota tells her that he decided to come listen to her complaints instead. She asks why, and he reminds her of their pact to vent and listen to each other. Confused, she admits she did not think they would meet, and he thinks to himself that while he was not planning on coming, his body just brought him there on its own, after remembering yesterday. He offers to order a drink, but she reveals she already ordered 2 out of habit. He laughs, saying it is a good thing he came, but she playfully retorts that she would have just drunk both herself. She giggles, admitting she feels much better now after getting nagged the day before, and thanks him. He looks away from her smile, thinking to himself that he has a bad impression of Kazamiya's mother, and that he finds himself stepping in for Kazamiya more than he would for anyone else. After they get their drinks, she suggests they call this a study session to explain his sudden departure from home. He cheers his drink with hers, agreeing it is an awesome idea. Later, he walks her home, and after saying their goodnights, he turns to leave, but her expression becomes a bit sad as she watches him go. As Kuta walks home, he thinks that it feels awkward after skipping his family plan, but he has no regrets because seeing Kazamiya's smile made it worth it. In her room, she curls up on her bed, squeezing her pillow and thinking about why he had to come, calling him an idiot for being so desperate when he is not the type to meddle in other people's business. She thinks about how happy he made her, and how she now has no idea how to face him, surprised to be troubled by something outside of her family. After that, peaceful days go on as they continue spending their after-school time together. One day, a friend mentions the upcoming student council vote, and Kota replies that they basically already know who is going to win. The friend notes there could still be an upset, and as he says this, they see the frontrunner, Raimon Shiori, through the window. She suddenly looks up directly at them, and they are stunned by her intense gaze as a small change begins to take shape. An announcement declares Raimon Shiori the new student council president. Kota's friend Natsuki remarks that it's boring. Natsuki also points out that Kazamiya has been softening up lately. Kota reflects that he has been spending more nights with her since she suggested they study. He meets her at their restaurant. She takes out her headphones and smiles. During their study session, Kazamiya expertly points out Kota's miscalculation and explains an easier method. He solves it, and she compliments him. Kota compliments her teaching. He is surprised to learn she has friends, like the new president, Raymond. She admits she studies a little before school, a habit from trying to keep up with her sister. She is glad it lets her help Kota. He tells her she's amazing. The studying inspires him to open up about his past. He explains that his father was obsessed with superiority. Kuta reflects on desperately studying to meet his father's expectations, but his success meant nothing. His father only cared about him being the top sorcerer, which broke him. He thanks Kazamiya for listening. In response, Kazamiya asks for his hand and draws a flower on his palm. She calls it a reward and tells him he did a great job. Kuta smiles, relieved. He thinks those were the words he had always wanted to hear. Kazamiya notices his reaction and asks if he is crying. He denies it, wiping his tears, and asks why she looks so happy. She giggles, explaining she is happy she could finally give him something. She then excitedly urges him back to studying. Kota reflects that thanks to her, he was able to focus for his exams. The tests are finally over, and summer vacation begins. As promised, they go to the batting center. Kazamiya enters, mesmerized, and Kota thinks about how happy she looks. She holds the bat with wonder. She asks to go first and steps into the batting cage, declaring she's going to hit them like crazy. After her session, she excitedly asks Kuta if he saw her hit. He confirms it was awesome and takes his turn, with Kazamiya cheering for him. He tries to remember his dad's lesson on swinging. He follows the steps and successfully hits the ball on his first try. Kuta reflects that he remembers the trick, though he dislikes learning it from his creepy old man. He declares he is aiming for a home run, and Kazamiya notices a sudden switch in his demeanor. Later, Kuta is fatigued and disappointed he couldn't hit a single home run. Kazamiya comes over with a cold drink, telling him good job. She comments that times like this are nice. She explains her family doesn't allow her to join clubs or have a part-time job, which leaves her with too much free time. Kuta is surprised. She explains she messed up once and caused trouble for her sister. She admits the money she uses to hang out with Kuta still comes from her mom's allowance, which she feels is lame. Kuta offers to pay for everything, but Kazamiya rejects his offer, saying that would be even worse. She opens up, explaining how tough it is to have things decided for her. She feels her mom has given up on her, never expected anything from her, and believes her only purpose is to stay out of her sister's way. To her mom, she is just a kid who cannot do anything. Kauta silently disagrees. He reflects on how Kazamiya saved him when she drew the flower on his hand. He realizes he also doesn't get along with his family. He wonders what he can do for her in return. She breaks the silence, sighing that hitting a home run is tough. Kuta watches her. He considers her cheerful act. He knows she deals with her difficult family and baseless rumors alone. He wonders again how he can help. Kuta speaks up, noting that finals are over. He asks if she wants to go somewhere for summer break. Kazamiya eagerly lists places like the pool, a summer festival, and an amusement park. Kuta jots down her ideas in his notebook. She laughs happily, saying she is excited for what might be her busiest summer ever. He stands up and declares, "This year will be busy." He corrects himself, saying from now on, it always will be. He puts another coin in the machine and steps back into the batting cage. He tells Kazamiya he has decided something. He swings and misses. He reflects on how their relationship has changed. He then says out loud that if Kazamiya ever needs help, he will be there for her. Her eyes water at his promise. Kuta starts hitting the ball again. He declares that even if the whole world speaks ill of her, he will always be on her side. Kazamiya gets happy and thanks him. She notes the whole world is a bit of an exaggeration. Kuta thinks he might be unreliable, but he wants to be her strength and never see her sad again. Later, after batting, they start to go home. Kazamiya suddenly remembers their favorite family restaurant is doing an anniversary stamp rally. She explains they need 5 stamps for a prize and suggests an overnight trip. Kauta agrees it sounds great. He thinks it will be a good excuse to get away from home. Kazamiya says they should make it a fun summer vacation. As they walk, Kuta thinks about how peaceful it is. He reflects that Natsuki wanted drama, but he just wants this calm time. He agrees they will make it a great summer. He walks her to her building. Kazamiya says goodbye. Waving back, he wonders if things are too peaceful and if something dramatic will happen. He then goes home and is welcomed by his family. Later, he takes a bath and sees it is raining heavily. He is dismayed about the stamp rally with Kazamiya tomorrow. He checks his phone. He sees an urgent message from her asking for help. Kuta dashes to his gate, thinking this can't be happening. He remembers Natsuki's prediction of drama versus his wish for peace. He realizes Natsuki was right. He opens the door. Kazamiya is standing there. She apologizes, telling him she ran away from home. A few hours earlier, Kazamiya's mother ordered her to stay home during summer break. She says Kazamiya will cause trouble for her sister. They argue. Kazamiya refuses to stay home because she has plans. Her mother gives her an ultimatum: follow the rules or get out. The words strike Kazamiya hard, and she sprints out. Her mother is unworried, remarking she will come back. Standing in the rain, Kazamiya feels hopeless. She has nowhere to go. Then she remembers Kuta's promise to support her. She wonders if it's okay to rely on him. She sends the message asking for help. Kuta sees her message. He replies with a location and meets her with an umbrella. She is soaked and about to cry. He tells her to come to his place to warm up. At Kuta's house, his mother welcomes him back. She sees Kazamiya and tells her to take a bath. As Kazamiya goes, Kuta's stepsister, Kotomi, teases him about his guest. He admits he doesn't know the details. She giggles, assuming they are close. Kuta insists they are not dating. Kotomi looks at him. She remarks that it's unusual that he didn't run away with Kazamiya. He clarifies that he just wanted to help her warm up. He thinks he wants to ease her pain. She looked so happy during the day. Seeing her so down makes him angry at her mom. Kotomi offers to cheer Kazamiya up. She has a plan and tells Kuta to get some items. After he brings them, she thanks him and pushes him out, telling him to wait in his room. Kuta wonders what is going on. Later, there is a knock. He thinks it's Kazamiya and tells her to come in. It is Kazamiya. She peeps in. She apologizes, explaining his t-shirt was the only thing to wear. It is wide, but not very long. She clarifies she is wearing underwear properly. Kuta apologizes. He explains his stepsister must have left the shirt. Internally, he thinks his stepsister did a good job. Kazamiya gets flustered. She says it's not like she hates it. She then quickly tells him to forget she said that. Kuta is confused. He thinks that, just as Kotomi said, Kazamiya looks a bit better. He doesn't understand how, but he's glad. He tells her to sit on the bed. She sits down. She apologizes for dragging him into this. She laments that she wanted a fun start to the summer break. Kuta tells her not to worry. He offers to listen if she feels like talking, but there is no pressure. Kazamiya smiles, saying she wants him to hear it. Kuta smiles back. Kazamiya tells him everything in detail. She explains how her mom told her to stay home, how she refused, and how she ran out on impulse. Kazamiya says she is acting like a kid. Kuta smirks, saying so what? He's a kid too. He suggests they lean on each other. Kazamiya comments that he is really composed. Kuta thinks to himself that it's thanks to her. He reflects on a time when life was draining him. Spending time with Kazamiya gave him a place to be. It made his heart feel lighter. He feels he can finally face things. Kuta asks her what she is going to do now. She gets confused. She admits she doesn't know, but she doesn't want to go back home. She says she keeps thinking like a kid, wishing she could vanish. She resigns herself to going back eventually. She apologizes for dragging him into it. She promises to thank his mom and head home tomorrow, calling herself so lame. Kuta calls her name. He asks if she wants to run away together. She jolts, asking if he's joking. She says it's not possible. Kuta explains he has emergency cash set aside for this. He says he is not joking, he is serious. He tells her he wants to see her smile, not cry. She asks why he would go so far for her. Kuta replies it's because she gave him full flower points. Kazamiya worries she is in the wrong or lying. Kuta smiles, saying he doesn't care. He reminds her he is on her side. Kazamiya then asks him to run away with her. Kuta wipes her tears. He promises to run with her as far as it takes. She is happy and cries again. They hold hands. Kazamiya lies on the bed. Kuta sits next to her, telling her to rest. They will be leaving on the first train tomorrow. As she drifts off, Kazamiya thinks he is gentle and kind. She wonders when she last fell asleep feeling this safe. Meanwhile, at Kazamiya's house, things are not calm. Her sister shouts at their mom. She demands an explanation for why their mother kicked Kohaku out. She calls her a psycho. Kazamiya's sister then slams a door. She goes to Kazamiya's room and notes that she left without her favorite headphones. The sister feels sure Kohaku will come right back. She believes Kazamiya can't handle running away and will only get hurt. She reflects this is why she keeps her safe, locked up in a cage. She thinks of Kazamiya as her fragile little angel. The scene shifts to Kuta coming out off the station and notes it was far. He asks if Kazamiya is tired. She says she is fine, but he observes she looks down. Kuta tries to cheer her up. He mentions he left a note for his family. He says they might as well enjoy the trip. She still looks a little sad. After taking the first train, they come to a family restaurant for the stamp rally. Kuta comments that it's quiet. Kazamiya apologizes for everything. She is worried about the money he spent on clothes and essentials. Kuta reassures her he has it covered. He explains he has savings from a part-time job and child support from his dad. He bitterly remarks it's not because his dad cares. It's his way of saying, do not complain for money. Kuta admits he never wanted to use that money. He says he can't be stubborn now. He insists he wants to help her. Kazamiya whispers, sorry. She understands his frustration. She says it must be frustrating how his dad uses money to shut him up. She is sorry he has to use that kind of money. Kuta is a bit shocked by her words. He tells her it's okay. Hearing her say that makes it all worth it. He wonders how Kazamiya understands him so well. He thinks she says the exact words he needs to hear. He feels he must make her happy. He looks relieved. He says he wants her to use his savings without holding back. She smiles and agrees. Kuta changes the subject to lodging. He explains students can't stay alone without parental consent. He mentions last resort places, but Kazamiya feels those aren't a good idea. Kuta then suggests staying overnight in a family restaurant. Kazamiya asks what he means. Kuta shows her a 24-hour branch on the map. He suggests they can stay there until morning. He also points out a nearby onsen. Kazamiya agrees it suits them. Kuta jokes they are the Family Restaurant Alliance. She smiles, saying it sounds exciting. Kuta remembers the stamp rally prizes. He checks his phone. He finds they get the prizes at each restaurant. Kazamiya asks if he wants a prize. He says he's more focused on the stamps. She agrees. She says doing this together with him is the real prize. Kuta is shocked by her comment. She quickly gets flustered and tells him to forget she said that. He smiles, insisting he will remember her words. Her face is bright red. Kazamiya turns away, embarrassed. Kuta smiles, thinking she is precious. He wants to spoil her. Kuta suggests they go wash off at the onsen. As they are on the way, Kazamiya offers to guide them. Kuta warns her the route is complicated. She giggles, insisting she's totally fine. Kuta reflects that he just wants to make her happy. After a while, Kazamiya seems angry. Kuta asks if they are lost and offers to help. She turns around in anger. She insists she wants to handle this one thing herself since he has helped her so much. She continues navigating. Kuta leaves it to her. They finally reach the onsen. Kazamiya is excited they made it. Kuta smiles and says good job. She accuses him of treating her like a kid, which he denies. As they go inside, Kuta tells Kazamiya they should meet in the lounge after their baths. She says all right, but fidgets. He asks what's wrong. She wonders if they have private rooms. Kuta confirms there are. She says she was thinking about mixed bathing. She says she wouldn't mind going with him. Kuta blushes and asks what she is saying. Kazamiya laughs and says she was just kidding. She explains it was payback for him treating her like a kid. Kuta waves at her back, completely confused. He feels like his heart just got ripped. He decides to take his time soaking. He soaks in his tub, thinking his plan is impulsive, but he knows students staying at a hotel could be taken by the police. The family restaurant was the best choice. He wants to support Kazamiya with everything he has. He knows this childish escape might only last a short time. He just wants her to have sweet dreams. On the other side, Kazamiya soaks in her bathtub, completely blushed. She thinks about how Kuta looked troubled. She cringes, wondering what she was saying. She gets embarrassed, thinking he would be troubled, but she admits she wouldn't have minded. Kazamiya hates how she keeps causing Kuta trouble. She reflects that she has never relied on anyone before, but with him, she can't help it. She just hopes he is enjoying this escape. After her bath, she changes. She hears a song and stops right away. On the TV, her sister, Coon, has appeared. A voice announces that Coon's latest song, Yuki, has surpassed 10 million views. Kazamiya thinks her sister is a bundle of talent. She even produced the music video herself. She reflects that people are captivated by her, but her greatest charm is still her singing voice. Kazamiya loves it. She has been a fan even before her sister debuted. She considers herself Coon's very first fan. She then wonders what would happen if Kuta met her sister. Other girls in the lounge behind Kazamiya are also watching the TV. Just then, Kuta comes up behind Kazamiya. She is wondering if he is comparing her to her sister. When he calls her name, she is startled. He comments she is way too startled. Kazamiya looks at the TV. She praises her sister's amazing vocals. She reveals Coon used to be terrible at singing, which surprises Kuta. Kazamiya explains Coon worked hard to get to the top. Kazamiya adds that her sister is nothing like her. Kuta calls it amazing. She asks him if he wants to meet Coon. She offers to set it up or get an autograph. Kuta declines. He says he would rather spend time with Kazamiya. He insists he would rather hear her sing than Coon's. Kazamiya thinks she expected him to say that. She reflects that he always gives her more than she hopes for. She feels like she is always just taking, which makes her hate herself. She stares at him. He asks what's wrong. She just smiles and says, "Thank you for everything." After sleeping at the onsen facility, they move to the family restaurant. As Kazamiya sits at the table, she feels very sleepy. Kota comes over. He asks if she's okay. He gives her her favorite cafe latte. She thanks him, saying she needs the caffeine. Kota comments she must be tired. She agrees. She says sharing thoughts over the movie they watched made time fly. Kota agrees, saying it got them talking. They had killed time watching a movie. Now they are discussing it. Kazamiya wishes these moments could go on forever. Kota replies she sounds sentimental. He reassures her they have plenty more fun times ahead. He adds that running away makes it more exciting. He asks where they should go today. He suggests they find a place to nap. Kazamiya agrees. She is really sleepy. She says finding a place to stay would be best. Just then, a voice from behind says to just come home. It is Coon. Kazamiya turns around shocked and says, "Sister." Coon thinks to herself that their escape worked out. She thinks they are still just helpless kids. She reflects that moments like these can be crushed by adults. She thinks the bond between the sisters is tight and cold. Kazamiya stands up, asking Coon why she is there. Coon explains she was worried and calls Kazamiya her precious sister. Coon hugs Kazamiya tightly, saying she's glad she's safe and apologizing for their mom. Kazamiya is startled. She tells Coon to let go and sit down because she is drawing attention. Coon protests, but Kazamiya insists she's with a friend. Kota starts to introduce himself. Coon cuts him off, confirming his identity and saying she has looked into things. Kota goes silent. Coon sits, hugs Kazamiya again, and thanks Kota for protecting her sister. He replies he just wanted to take her side as a friend. Coon says she likes that. Kota thinks Coon seems to dote on Kazamiya and might listen. Coon then claps, announcing the game is over and it's time to go home. Kazamiya refuses. Coon scoffs. She tells Kazamiya this trip can't continue, she can't find a place to stay, and running away won't solve anything because their mom won't care. Coon calls Kazamiya fragile. She hugs her again, calling her a fragile, little cute angel, and tells her to come home. She offers to lock Kazamiya up, make their mother disappear, or build a new home. She devotes her entire existence to Kazamiya. Kazamiya feels trapped in a sweet cocoon. Coon then suggests she is in the way. She says she will disappear if her presence hurts Kazamiya. Kota interrupts. He asks if Coon seriously thinks this will make Kazamiya happy. Coon dismisses him as an outsider. Kota declares he is Kazamiya's ally. He then lies. He claims he incited Kazamiya to run away. He says Kazamiya was planning to go home, but he stopped her. He says he wanted Kazamiya all to himself. Kazamiya's face turns red. She asks if he's joking. Kota insists he is serious and was being selfish. Kazamiya thinks he's just trying to take all the blame. Kota tells Coon to talk to him if she wants to take Kazamiya home. Coon smirks, intrigued. She mentions calling the police. Kota counters that his family is informed. He says a commotion would be bad for the famous singer. Coon goes silent. She then praises him for opposing her for Kazamiya's sake. Coon agrees to back off, but says she will be back tomorrow. She leaves Kazamiya's headphones on the table. Kazamiya holds them, thinking of them as a tool of rejection. As Coon leaves, Kota calls out that Kazamiya isn't weak, but strong. Coon stops, then leaves. Kazamiya reflects that her sister is right. This can't go on. Kota brings her a coffee. She asks why he is so calm and sitting so close. He says he just felt like it. He will move if she dislikes it, which she denies. After a silence, Kazamiya says she feels guilty. She wants to go home. Kota refuses. He wants to keep running away. Kazamiya stands, saying she'll go back alone. He stops her, holding her hand. He reminds her they are the family restaurant's alliance. She calls this unfair. He replies he'll do anything to make her smile. She smiles, thinking they really get along. Kota asks if she really wants to go home. Kazamiya confesses her true feelings. She wants to stay with him. She feels weak and hates herself for troubling him. Kota insists she is strong. He points out she faces her sister's music instead of blocking it out. Kazamiya admits she sometimes wishes Coon would disappear. She knows Coon isn't at fault. He tells her it's not her fault either. He encourages her not to blame herself. He urges her to meet Coon tomorrow. He tells her to say everything she wants. He says they'll just run away again if it goes wrong. Kazamiya smiles, calling him funny. She thinks her heart feels light and warm, as if Kota is a magician. Time flies, and they earn their second stamp. Meanwhile, Coon stands on a roof, smiling. She vows that the Coon Kazamiya hates will disappear. Coon reflects on her life. Everything had always come easily to her, and people called her a prodigy, but she knows the world runs on connections more than natural ability. She kept a fake smile to avoid conflict, and at times even wondered if it would be easier not to exist. But then she remembers Kazamiya, her little sister's bright smile, the way she hugged her and said, "I love you." The world feels dull. Yet living for that smile doesn't seem so bad. One day, Coon's mother told her she was terrible at singing. Until then, she believed she had no weaknesses, so hearing that almost excited her, finally something she wasn't good at. She immediately decided to start vocal training. Her mother warned that not everything is meant for everyone, and even her vocal coach agreed, saying singing was a waste of her talent and that she should focus on her many other strengths. Despite all her effort, the criticism kept coming. Coon hadn't realized the world could be this harsh. She began to think maybe she should just give up, but Kazamiya stopped her, saying she loved Coon's singing and begged her not to quit. Whenever Coon sang with her sister in mind, her voice came out beautifully, earning praise from everyone. Kazamiya had always said she loved her voice, yet she was also hurt by the constant comparisons between them. Coon wondered why her sister still cheered for her. It felt as if the gift of song itself had been given to her by that girl, her precious angel. Coon never wanted Kazamiya to be hurt. To her, the younger girl seemed fragile, someone who needed protection. Maybe Kazamiya even hated her, but Coon could accept that. It was why she kept her away from their mother, whom she believed was poison to her. Someone so delicate had to be cherished, sheltered like a small bird in a cage. She was convinced Kazamiya wouldn't survive if she ever took her eyes off her. Standing on the edge of the building, Coon says she chased after her sister because she was worried. But all she feels she proved is that Kazamiya hates her. If that's true, then disappearing might be the best choice. Just then, a voice calls out behind her. Kazamiya has arrived. She says it would be a problem if Coon disappeared. Startled, Coon turns. Kazamiya says she figured her sister would be on the rooftop. When Coon asks if she's ready to come home, she answers no. Coon offers again to vanish, insisting she's the one causing all the pain, but Kazamiya shouts at her not to decide that for her. She admits she was jealous of Coon's talent, but more than that, she admired her and was proud to be her sister. She says she loves her. She also points out that many of Coon's song titles are based on her name, something that always secretly made her happy. She had only assumed Coon despised her for having no talent. Kazamiya tells her that she too had been running away, and urges Coon to face her properly. She says she wanted to talk more, even if she still won't return home yet. She only asks Coon to take care of herself. Hearing that, Coon finally smiles. She thinks Kazamiya really hit a sore spot. As Kazamiya turns to leave, Coon thinks. She thinks facing Kazamiya's hatred was too painful. She thought Kazamiya was a fragile angel, but she became strong. She is stronger than Coon ever imagined. Coon thinks someone else realized her strength first. It's frustrating. She believes maybe Kuta being there helped Kazamiya face her. Coon smiles, thinking the mission failed and she lost. Even so, she feels strangely refreshed. She sits and calls her mom. She reports Kazamiya ran away from her. Her mom is dismissive and tells her to get back to work. Coon says she already adjusted her schedule. She tells her mom they have both been running from Kazamiya. They need to face her properly. Coon says Kazamiya is growing up. Her mom just says, get back to work, and cuts the call. Coon calls her a stupid old hag. She thinks her mom's guilt is probably even heavier than her own. Inside the restaurant, Kazamiya is nervous. She lightly hits her head on the table. Kota tells her good job. She thanks him. She says she's super tired. She has never fought with her sister before. Kota asks how it felt to argue with her. She thinks for a moment, then says not so bad. He smiles, saying she really is amazing. She says she's not. She says it's all thanks to him spoiling her. She was able to face her sister because he gave her time to recharge her heart. Kazamiya is firm on this. Kota drinks his juice, saying his heart can't take it. Kazamiya asks Kota why he helps her. She asks if it's just because they are friends. He is silent for a moment. He then says it's because she is important to him. Kazamiya repeats his words. He doesn't know what else to say. A waitress comes and serves their steak. Kazamiya says this is a celebration for doing their best today. Kota agrees. They decide to name the celebration. Kazamiya suggests the Day I Face My Sister commemoration. Kota simplifies it to Sister Fight Day. She laughs, likes it, and says she will write it down. He says they should celebrate again next year. She smiles, agreeing. Kota looks a bit sad. Kazamiya points out they got their third stamp. Kota notices the art is different. He says they should move on to the next restaurant. She smiles and agrees. Kota suggests checking a nearby hotel for a room. Kazamiya reveals her sister actually booked them a place. They can stay there if they help out with a job. Kazamiya looks at her phone. The job is cooking and serving food at a beach hut. Kota thinks, a beach hut. He realizes this means he will get to see her in a swimsuit. He is mesmerized by the thought. She notices his shocked expression and asks what's up. He just says they should do their best. Their runaway adventure will continue. Summer is not over yet.
Here I am.